Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker here in the mighty mini-tropolis of Marnie, Iowa. We are on a Royal Enfield Meteor today, 350 Meteor. Fireball red. She's really quite a neat little hot rod. This one's used, has about 864 miles. It's got the that J engine, that really popular J engine. What a bike. This one's been this one's had a few add-ons done to it, including a pipe. We'll pull over here later and take a look at that. These are such polite bikes to ride, especially in stock form like this. Has a gear indicator. Hey, that's nice. Pulls very well. I mean, look at that. We're going up a hill. I love it. Good sound. Ha 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 ha! What a hot rod. We are on the outskirts of town now, the edge of civilization. We are not going to take this on the gravel because it's a clean motorcycle. Just pushed it off the showroom floor. Feel that torque. This has got those extra wide levers that I like so much. That's one thing they've done in the 350 Classics and the 350 Meteor. These just beautiful levers. Yeah, I just love them to death. I wish I could get those on my Himalayan. Pretty good power. I like it. I like it. Crash bars on this one. I think, what else did they add to it? The crash bars, the exhaust pipe, the fairing. Ah, the rear end's been lowered. That's right. They put the shorty shocks on it. Let's talk about that here at the stop sign. So they lowered the rear end of the bike. These have an already pretty low seat. I'll look that up here in a minute and tell you what that is. But so I'm flat footing it right now on both sides. And the ride doesn't seem to matter. Let's take it on the highway and see what we find out about the ride. Got to get used to that heel shifter. I love those things. I just never get a chance to use them. Pulls very well. Look at that, right up to 50. It's a pretty windy day and we're riding into the wind right now, so that's pretty good acceleration. I like it. Fifth gear, there we are. The seating position on this is actually pretty interesting. I like that a lot. It's very upright. Your feet, it's got forward, what they call forward controls or something like this. Your feet are directly below your knees, maybe a little forward. The seat itself, your upright sitting, the bars you're reaching to them, but you don't have to reach forward. You know, you don't have to lean forward. It's a very upright seating position. I like that. You know, it's a cruiser style bike, and those cruiser styles are really, that's one of my favorite styles. Now let's talk about handling. So let's start with the garage. Pushing it around your garage. It's a light bike. Well, it's not a light bike. It's like, I think it's 420 pounds. Something like 195 kilos. I'll put that down below if I got that wrong. The center of gravity is very low, especially when compared to something like my Himalayan. So it pushes around the garage pretty well. And it's a very small motorcycle, especially with this lowered rear end. The next thing would be like in your driveway or out of the parking lot, you know, low speed driving, very manageable. We just did that around town. It's just excellent. Very predictable, very refined handling. I think very, you know, no surprises. Very good in that sense. Pickup speed from there to, let's say, 50 miles an hour. Or let's say 50 to the top speed. I think the top speed on these is 70. And I think, yeah, well, look at that. We're going 60 right now. It just runs like a dream. No problem at all. I feel very stable on it. We're not getting blown around. The wind's coming from our left right now. And the bike is just fine. You know, the suspension on this, even though it's been lowered, doesn't seem to have any, I can't really tell any notable difference in ride quality. And it certainly has plenty of power. I mean, I'm just not lacking at all here. We're going back into the wind again. I think the front suspension is 5.1 inches of travel. I believe that's 130 millimeters. The rear suspension, I think, is 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches, I think, and I don't know what that is in millimeters. I'll put that down below. Maybe 90 millimeters. This is Iowa's busiest intersection. Trucks all over today, gravel trucks even. The way this thing, transmissions on Royal Enfields are always the best. I think that's one thing they just do so well. And then the clutch feel is just excellent. All right, let's head back. Very good feel. I love the sound. This is a very nice motorcycle. Just looking at the dash. So we've got a trip meter right here, the day tripper nav system. You hook that with your phone, it'll give you directions, left, right, how far to go, stuff like that. Over here we've got an analog speedometer with a little LCD in the center that has time, gear indicator, and a fuel gauge. We're right at about a little over half a tank of fuel, I suppose. Look at this, right through the curve, no trouble at all. I better slow down, we're going to catch those trucks. I have no desire to be close to the back end of a gravel truck. Okay. The gear indicator, like I talked about, it's got the, there's the odometer. Now to adjust, to change this, it's got trip 1, trip 2, and A. So there's trip A, trip B, and then back to the odometer. And that's done with this little button over here. Up here we've got pass to flash, flash to pass right there, and then the high-lows. Blinkers right there, and then horn right there. Information button there, already talked about that. On this side we've got the kill switch, and the start switch is a rocker start switch. So this one red switch is both the kill switch and the rocker switch, and then the hazard light button's right there also. Interesting thing about this versus like my Himalayan, this has a clutch adjustment at the top and at the engine also, where my Himalayan only has it at the engine. These Baxter Cycle had one of these, they put knobby tires on it, and it was kind of the go-to bike when they had it. Anybody, had to go to town or just do anything. It was the bike everybody wanted to hop on and ride. It was just, yeah, this is a pretty nice bike, and I do like the seat. Like I said, it's a very upright sitting position. That, my friends, is the mighty metropolis of Marnie, Iowa. Population 160. Home of Baxter Cycle, seller of new and used Royal Enfields, Triumphs, and British bikes of all types. If you need anything for those kind of bikes, get a hold of those guys, baxtercycle.com. They also have an incredible inventory in stock of accessories, parts, apparel for Royal Enfields, right there in stock. They usually ship out, day of the order or the day after, so place your order, get it in a couple days. I love it. We'll do the hill test here, and of course I'm going to tell you that's the derailed grill right there. If you're ever in Marnie, Iowa, give those people a try. Good eats, good eats. Look at that, it just handles so well. Alrighty, let me get this helmet off and we will do a little talk. Wahoo! Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker down here at Cycle Park. We're in a new location today, but check this little hot rod out. This is a Royal Enfield Meteor 350 in Fireball Red. Beautiful bike, blacked out engine. The ends of the fins are milled. It's an air-cooled, oil-cooled engine, 349 cc's. Has about 20 horsepower and just about as much torque. I think that's 27 newton meters of torque. This is their base model. That's the starting model of the Meteor line. Very pretty motorcycle. This one's used and has a couple extras added onto it. One of the things I want to point out right is look at this heel shifter. It's got a, what does that say? J&D pipe. Very good sounding pipe. It's got these crash bars on it. It's got this Royal Enfield branded windscreen. What else have they added to it? Ah, yes, the shocks. We talked about that on the ride. They lowered the shocks. And, this already has a low seat. It's a 30.1 inch seat, which is, I'll get the millimeters down below. So this has been lowered, and I think those shocks lower it, I want to say it's an inch, but I'm not sure. Wheelbase on this is 55.1 inches. That's about 1,400 millimeters. And ground clearance on these, I think it's 6.7 inches, and I believe that is about 170 millimeters. Interesting thing on these is the back brake. We'll talk about both brakes, but the back brake is a 270 millimeter disc with a single pot. That means single piston caliper. Now what's interesting about that, 270 is an extra large disc for the back. Most bikes are 240 to 255, so it's a little larger. And then the front is a 300 millimeter. Is that it? Yep, 300 millimeter. 2-piston Vibri, ABS. I love the cast wheels. Isn't that neat? That means that you have tubeless tires. Gas tank on these is about almost 4 gallons, 3.96, something like that. Very attractive. By the way, I love these. You ever get down here to Baxter Cycle and check these out, and when you do, use these levers. They're just absolutely the most comfortable levers. The forward controls, very big, very big lever there for your foot. And these Enfield pedals are large pegs, are large anyway. Let's see the back ones. Oh, even the back ones say Royal Enfield on them. Beautiful, beautiful, man, beautiful. Chain drive rear, of course. I think I said it already. The 5-speed transmission. I know I've said it 100 times. The Royal Enfield makes the best transmission. It's so smooth. Pillion seat, back seat. These are cast aluminum pieces. I mean, they're just solid as a rock. Quite and good looking too. I like the taillight. The chrome ring around it. I think the headlight has the same thing. Yes, it does. Gorgeous. Another thing about the Enfields, I point out to those of us that like to work on our own motorcycles, pop the tank off and there's a valve cover. You pop that off and you get access to the valves. Very easy to do. No fairings to remove, nothing, nothing to work around. It's just very simple. Very impressed with this bike. Very impressed with this bike. Okay, my friends. I'm Fuzzy Biker. If you're interested in something like this, get a hold of BaxterCycle.com. Ask for Jeremy. Tell him Fuzzy Biker sent you. And if the weather's nice out where you're at, get on your bikes and ride. Wahoo!